You cannot be serious! Yes, I am serious. I'm Francis Mayer, and this is the Renegade Report. And those words were actually uttered by a famous tennis player. It was John McEnroe. Do any of you guys ever get belligerent with officials?
Not with officials.
But with
the other opponent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you talking over the net?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. What kind of words are exchanged?
I don't know if it's good to say.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't say it.
Do you point the racket over the net?
No, but I abused the racket a little bit.
Now, that is actually a term in tennis, isn't it? Racket abuse?
Yeah, it's called a decorum violation. They all know that one very well.
Oh, wow. How come? Yeah. What now? How have you abused the racket? Keep it PG-13. No, yeah. PG.
Yeah.
It's a family audience. But how have you abused the racket? Striking it against the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't done it this season, though, yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that not true? Don't just offer sound effects down there, Coach.
I don't know. I've seen a couple iffy things, but not somewhere that's a total like major decorum, but little tap here and there.
You wouldn't know anything about that because in high school you were a very mellow player.
Oh yeah, I was the calm. Oh yeah, I knew nothing about this.
You never screamed or shouted.
No. Oh no.
There was some actually pretty intense play. Just to skip to the court and what happened yesterday, and we'll take a look at some highlights in just a minute. But we had a switch in the number one spot, Coach. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yep. I just felt like for that match, David's kind of
David who?
David Perez.
Uh-huh.
He's number two. Him and Andrew they've had the same record. They've won a couple matches here and there, but. David, I felt like I'll give him the shot this half at one to kind of see how it goes.
But you thought he matched up better.
I figured, yeah, because I felt like, Andrew played well the first time. I mean, we went to Glendale the first time. Andrew, he fought, and I felt like, well, let's kind of mix it up and see how it goes. And I didn't really know how it would go because I felt like if David could keep it close and kind of get the other guy a little irritated, he could get him. And then after David lost the first, I just told him, keep staying your patterns. Don't get anxious. Just be steady and keep going for your shots. And I just told him to calm down and, everything's good. And he won the next two sets, 7-5, 7-5. So that was his best win of the season.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And Coach Jacobs, this is your first season. And gentlemen, how long have you been with the BC Tennis Program? And tell us your names.
My name is Brian Yanes, and this is my first year here.
Okay.
I'm Christian Kuchug, and this is my first year.
Okay, all right. And how is Coach Jacobs treating you? How different is BC from high school?
I think for his first year, he's not doing a bad job. I mean, there's definitely some times in the court where, he does a good job. He tells us certain things about certain players that he notices that what we should be doing. He does a good job. Practices have been a lot fun lately. He's doing his really good drills, keeping us moving, keeping our heart rates up, Lots of good things that would be important for us as tennis players.
Has your game matured since you were in high school?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Playing a lot more, playing much tougher opponents. I mean, it is for my league, it's just there's so much more depth in college now than there was in high school.
Right, and California is kind of a hotbed of tennis,
yes.
right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what are the most competitive states when it comes to tennis? Florida?
Yeah, Florida's one of the big ones. Texas, another one. Southern. Those would be the main three.
Sure, but we're right here in the middle of it.
Oh, I would honestly think Southern Cal is probably the toughest area. I would agree. I would think.
And we're starting to draw major talent even here to Bakersfield.
Yes.
Earlier you were talking about somebody hitting balls down at the racket club, right? And that no one was able to touch his serve. Who was that, Christian?
I don't know what his name was, but they have the Bakersfield Open next week, starting this weekend, and a lot of the players are coming in right now, and they've been practicing. And one of them, he was the number one at University of Georgia, and he was practicing. And then some of the local guys went out there to hit with him, and it wasn't good.
So by hit with him, you mean they stood opposite of him?
Yeah, and they're
watched serves pass them by.
Yeah, they couldn't touch his balls.
Do you think? No, and that was probably for the best. Do you feel like they could have? Were they deflecting them at all, or anything, or even getting a racket?
They got a racket on it, but they weren't going in.
Okay, all right, very good. Coach, I believe right now are we 2-7, 2-8?
2-8 right now.
Okay. What are your expectations for the rest of the season?
Like I keep telling my guys, we've been on the unfortunate end of, I want to say 3 or 4, 5-4 losses this year.
we have.
So our record,
Doggone
honestly,
it.
this year is very deceiving.
It really
Even
is.
though we're 2-8, I mean, I feel like we're the best 2-8 team. Even though we could be 5-4, however you want to go. Every match is just, they play their hearts out. Just every time there's just one match or one thing here and there that always seems to kind of not fall in our favor. But that's tennis, and I just keep telling them. It may be frustrating now, but it's a learning experience. And most of all my players are all first years. And with evidence, we played Glendale on Tuesday. First time, and I kind of made this joke with them. We went to Glendale. Probably wasn't the best effort I saw all around, I thought. And I even told them we were like at a dog funeral. It was kind of depressing. It was very depressing. And I just told them, the second time, we have kind of a different lineup for this match. I'm like, just go out there, Glendale's a very vocal team. They always have been. You can't let that affect your outcome. You got to just stay focused on your match. And if you do that and getting pissed off, you guys, you have the upper hand.
But that must be part of Glendale's makeup, because that is not the only the tennis is not the only athletic squad of theirs that is chatty.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I watched a couple basketball games. And
So, you
yeah,
remember. You're
yes.
familiar with that. And they were physical.
Yeah.
And Nick, you're really becoming part of the fabric of BC Athletics. You seem to have made more of an emotional investment in the tennis team, and with no disrespect to past coaches, but you've brought a sort of energy to this. Do you feel committed to being in Kern County and in Bakersfield?
Yes, I do. I feel like it's important, like I said when I was on the show, let's say it was a couple months ago.
Sure,
with you.
yeah.
I feel like it's important for, the coaches and the students to have that relationship, not just, when you see with some other colleges, they're here for a year, and then they just happen to, do whatever, and then it kind of keeps on going. With, I felt like, what happened last year was in the past, I know I've gotten some questions about it. I kind of really don't like to talk about it because I wasn't here, so I don't know the whole things that went on with it. But I know, what I'm doing now is I'm just staying focused on what I'm doing this year. And I want to kind of keep building on that. And, like I said, we are 2-8, but
You're a competitive team.
That's what I'm saying. We've lost 2 close matches to Fresno City,
Now,
5-4, and they're always top team in the state. And then we played Mount San Antonio at home. We lost 5-4, and then the evidence on Tuesday against Glendale, we lost 7-2. We had a couple, 6-4 third set losses, which, like I said, even though they lost, Brian's unfortunately on the end, on the end of that one, but that's probably the best I've seen him play all year. And he actually stepped up in doubles, and him and David won number 1 doubles against their 1-2-8-6. And that's what I thought was, I keep telling my team, even if we're already out of a match or if it's, getting towards out of our hands, you just got to play doubles, and you just got to, because everything now is all individual. And so they look at that, if they say, the 1-6 or 1-4 beat the 1-2. Oh, that's a big, thing right there.
No, it is. And when you think about it and you take all the 5-4 losses and then maybe, I don't know, give us another one, all of a sudden we're 8-2.
Exactly.
I mean, very easily.
Yes.
It's not a big stretch. It's not even a big stretch to put us at 7-3 or 6-4.
Oh,
and
no,
then
exactly.
We're
No,
right
no.
in the thick of it.
Exactly.
And if you guys are freshmen, I mean, do you have interest in coming back and playing as sophomores?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Cool, because if you don't, I'm going to kneecap you. So that's how I roll, okay? That's how I do things, all right?
All right.
You might have great hair or whatever, but I'll get you, okay? Hey, do you guys have that, is this an urban legend that tennis players, their racket arm is bigger than their non-playing arm?
No.
It's not an urban legend?
Not at all.
Let me see your forearm. Which one is your...
I'm right-handed, so I mean.
Oh, your right arm is bigger!
Yeah, definitely. Even my shoulder. It's the thing. Even if you professional players, especially professional players, if you look at them closely, one from home, Roddick, his right arm was ginormous. His left arm was just a stick.
A buddy of mine, he's like the Forrest Gump of hanging out with famous people. He accidentally hangs out with famous people. And he met this friend who had a killer house in Holmby Hills, which is in LA. It's a really exclusive neighborhood. And he went swimming over there one day. And he was like, dude, there was this girl in the pool, and I thought she was handicapped. and she was, I'm not going to say her name, but she's a fairly well-known female tennis player, and yes, he said it was plain to see in a swimsuit that she was unbalanced.
Yeah.
Like, and then his host was like, no, she plays professional tennis. That's why one of her arms is all vascular and muscular and all that other stuff. So very good. All right. Do we have any clay courts, Nick, in Kern County? I meant to ask you that.
We used to back in this is when I was kind of coming up in the junior ranks, and as far as I understood it, the only clay courts we had in town is probably, and I could be wrong, this might have been like 15 years ago.
Rio
20 years
Bravo?
ago. Rio Bravo was the only ones that did have them. I want to say they had about 4 to 6 of them over there, and then,
But isn't it really hard to maintain? And
oh yeah, the clay courts, they're kind of unlike a hard court. You have to constantly, keep watering them. You have to rake them, making sure they're made. Otherwise, if you just kind of leave them out there, the clay will just kind of dry up and get all cakey, and then, you just end up slipping.
That's why the French Open's on clay, because French people have time to do all that crap.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
too busy. We have stuff to do over here. That's why we play on synthetic. Coach, athletes, let's take a look at some highlights real quick here. I think this is against Glendale.
Yep.
Look at that establishing shot there. That's Greg Kerr, folks. That's photojournalism right there.
There's
We got
David right there.
David Perez,
That is David.
Coach speaking to the microphone there, and I think
Yep.
he's squaring up.
Yep. I have no idea what. Probably got to be the first game. So, he held there. He must have held.
Make something up.
There we
Look
go.
at that.
Yep.
Very graceful. He's like a cat.
Oh, yes. Oh, there we go. Okay, 3-4. Okay.
And when you're not good at tennis like me, you constantly play like inside of the baseline. That's a long shot for me to hit, and then slow motion jog to the net. Here we go.
Oh, yep. Oh, there we go. That would be Austin right there. And there's the backhand. There's the backhand.
Okay, so that backhand that he's doing there, and he
Yes.
drug his foot. Is he slowing himself down?
It's kind of more of a, what the heck? That was a two-handed slash. Sorry, I've never really seen him do that two-handed slash thing, so I was a little. Yeah, but the dragging of the foot, it's kind of like a slide tactic to where you want to kind of get some forward momentum and slide into the shot a little bit.
Gotcha.
Because his backhand is pretty massive. Yep, there's the massive winner. I always make the joke with him that if you can run around and hit a backhand, at all costs, do it.
Now, does the backhand behave differently off the surface?
But the backhand, because you have the two hands, you have a little more leverage, and you have a little more room to kind of whip it. The one-handed, in general, like if you have a one-handed back and one point, it's a little harder to control, and it's just a different swing by a little bit.
Okay,
And,
I want to swing by your practice when it's a good time, and I would like you to serve to me, but I want to use a giant, the biggest racket you have, and I want to try to hit it like a baseball player. Okay?
Okay.
I just want to put some wood on it. Is that a game we can play?
yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, dude. BC Tennis, flexible as always. When's your next home events?
Our next home event is on Tuesday against Los Angeles Pierce College, a team who we beat them a couple weeks ago, 6-3.
All right. I mean, you never know what you're going to get out of BC Tennis, but I'll tell you what, you guys play your butts off. It's fun to watch you, and we have a beautiful view of the whole facility from our tennis courts. It's nice and centrally located.
Yes.
So come on out and enjoy some tennis. Coach, thanks for coming.
Yep.
Guys, it was good to see you.
No
All
problem.
right.
Thank you very much.
Stick around, because coming up next, we have the new Bakersfield College cheer coach. Wow. She's going to come in here and tell us about tryouts. So, hey, I mean, if you guys have time after tennis season's over, okay, maybe you can put your skills to work on the Spirit Squad. Don't go anywhere. Renegade Report will be right back.